Hey, I'm Eric Keach. I'm here with Jay Fulmer, and he is an amazing client over there at Body by Brady. And he's here today to talk about his story, his experience, the results he's seen, and everything else in between. So, Jay, thanks so much for taking the time to come on today. I really do appreciate it.
No problem. Glad to do it.
All right, so let's kind of get a backstory, right? So, people are going to watch this. They're going to want to kind of know what you've overcame and things like that. So, before you hopped on board here, started training here, what was like the big issue, the big challenge that you were looking to solve?
Oh, sure, sure. Like I basically started, like most guys, like in my teens and 20s, in great shape. Started to kind of slide a little in my 30s, put on a lot of extra weight, with work and whatnot. Had tried doing kind of dieting, kind of running on my own and whatnot, and not incredibly successful with it, to be honest. So I was looking for something a little more guided. I want something, a lot of physical activity. So that's how I kind of arrived at Body by Brady.
Was there anything like a moment, or was there something that said that kind of just hit you when you're like, you know what, this is the time I've got to do this?
Um, Tough to say. I don't know if there's like a key trigger in there. Maybe kind of seeing my children in sports, like seeing them really enjoying themselves, and
Hmm.
me thinking, wow, I really need to be able to get out there and do this stuff with them.
Okay, so it was like a build up over time, and you just kind of realized, all right, I think I probably got to do something about this.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't working out so great on its own. Sure.
Okay, and so you decided to make this change, and you end up at Body by Brady. And tell me what your first experiences were. Were you walking? Were you nervous? Were you kind of like anxious about the whole thing, about what was going to happen?
Yeah, I had no idea what to expect. My wife actually started here first, and so she'd been here
Okay.
about 2 weeks, and she's like, "You got to try it. It's really, really good." She said it's really intense, but you're going to feel great after you start it. So I came in for my first session with Matt, I believe, and he kind of warned me. He said, "This is going to be difficult, just so you're ready for it." And it was a really butt kicker of a workout. We just went through like a half session. And I remember telling my wife when I got home, I said, I haven't worked that hard since high school football practice. It was that intense. And I mean, in a good way. So
Hmm.
it was a phenomenal workout. And it was, you never really get used to it. So you always feel like you're getting really pumped. You're getting a lot of really good lifting and core exercise.
Right.
So it's always good. Never disappointed.
Now, some people, right, when they come in, they could be probably maybe a little, I guess, anxious or nervous or intimidated by like that type of workout coming in. Is it something that they should fear? Is it something that it's just part of the process and it's really not that big of a deal?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's not a big deal at all. It's something that I think that you kind of learn that you can do a whole lot more when someone maybe pushes you a little bit, and
Yeah.
all the trainers are just really, really great because you get good instruction on how to do the form correctly. And so they really focus on that, doing it correctly before they start focusing on lift and repetitions. Make sure
Hmm.
you're doing it right. So you get a lot of great coaching, but by getting that great coaching and doing it correctly, you are going to get the work in. So
Hmm.
it's definitely not something to be intimidated by. It is a change and it is different,
Yeah.
but you've got people here to support you and people to show you how to do it right.
Right. You've got the background, the sports background, right? You say you play high school football, these types. So you kind of have an idea of like movement and how the body should react. But some people may come in to this place and they may think, okay, is this for me or is this for guys just like you? Is it open to anybody? Who's the type of clientele?
I think it's open to anybody. When I
Okay.
first started, and it's still this way, I kind of have fallen into my schedule. I'm with the same people, most workouts. And it's a big, broad brush. We're people younger and much better shape than I am, and we're people maybe a good bit older, maybe not as great a shape. And everyone's doing the same exercise, working at the same pace, and just changing the intensity a little bit. And the instructor is able to work with everybody, particularly being a small group, so that it works well for everyone.
Okay.
For someone new coming in, there should be zero intimidation. There's grandmothers in here, and then there's young people that are in top fitness.
And so for those people who maybe come in who aren't in the best shape or have maybe, let's say they got knee problems or things, they modify things or like they do that so that people can come across and be able to do the workouts.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lady that I work out with pretty commonly who has knee trouble actually,
Hmm.
and the instructors, from day one, she told them there's a lot. I don't want a lot of stress on the knees just because she'd had some problems
Right.
historically, and the instructors, without even her asking, every time will modify every exercise, check to make sure that the modifications are working. Is that stressing you too much? And always making sure she's staying in her comfort zone but still getting a good workout.
Okay. And you said these are small group, right? So there's multiple people in there, but is there a feeling of still you get kind of this one-on-one attention, or is it you're more like a number in a way?
Absolutely, yeah. When you do the small groups, usually it ranges from one person, it might just be you and the instructor, up to a maximum of five.
Yeah.
And so you're doing a circuit, and the instructors are never more than 10 feet away from you. So you're getting constant attention there. You never feel like you're isolated, or you
Hmm.
never feel like someone's not there watching you to make sure you're
Okay.
doing it correctly.
Now, obviously, right, training is training, right? It's like you said, you got to put work in, right? You're doing work, but is there an element of maybe fun to this while you're being part of it and going through it?
It is. That's one thing that Matt, so it's Matt Brady for Body by Brady. One thing that he really emphasizes is, for lack of a better word, it's a really family environment because you get to know everybody and you know
Hmm.
everybody you're working with. And like a lot of times we'll be in there, doing a round of push-ups or something like that and shouting out at each other to give each other encouragement. It's a lot of fun. It's something I look forward to. I can honestly never say in coming here, I've been a client, I guess, for 3 or 4 months. I have never not looked forward to coming here. It's always enjoyable. It's always a lot of work, but I always have a great time.
Did you expect that? Like, you're going in, you got to train, but did you expect it to be as fun as it is?
That I did not expect because, like a lot of times, I think like a lot of people, when you're working out on your own, it does get a little dull, and it does get to be something that takes a lot of self discipline to stick with it. Coming here is effortless, and I kind of maybe expected to be more like working out on my own than it was, but it's very motivating. It's a completely different experience than what I thought it would be when I walked in.
Okay. Now let's shift to the fun stuff. Let's talk about the results you said. You said you've been there for a few months now. So what have you seen? I know you were right before we recorded, right? We're checking some numbers and things like that. So
Right.
so share some of those numbers. Like what have you come across during this time?
Sure, sure. I can look at the dates. I have to look over here and see. I started around mid-December. So in that
Hmm.
time, I've lost almost 20 pounds. Body fat percentage has dropped by 4%. So big, big goal. Lost several inches on my stomach. I can tell you that I've got clothes in my closet that did not fit before
Yeah.
Christmas that do fit now, and I've got some stuff that is too baggy. I never thought I'd say that, but that's the results that really make the difference. Is when you see your clothes start fitting great, and you're starting
Hmm.
able to wear stuff you weren't able to wear before. You feel like $1,000,000.
And have you noticed shift in things maybe along energy levels or things along those lines?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, wake up in the morning. You're not, tired all day. You're ready to, you know, do whatever. And definitely notice that the kind of fatigue doesn't set in as fast, and you're able to really get more done during the day just naturally.
Hmm. How about with it? Obviously, you're working harder, so this may affect it too. But are you sleeping any better, or is there benefits on that side too?
Probably so. You sleep like a log. I'll tell you, especially on workout nights, you do go home and you are ready to go to
Yeah.
sleep. So, but kind of, I think just getting in the cycle of better fitness has me with better sleep habits. Trying to get sleep more regularly, get the same numbers hours of sleep per night, and those kinds of things.
One of the things you said in the beginning is where you were, you saw your kids and you started making thinking about this process and things like that. Have they noticed these changes? Has your family seen a difference in this?
Oh, absolutely. I can tell you that me and my son were driving somewhere, and he was kind of looking. I was driving, obviously, and he was in the seat beside me, and he was looking, out the driver's side window. He goes, "Dad, your stomach's not in the way anymore." So
Wow.
that was really something to hear, because
Mhm.
so that a kid noticed something like that. So, but lots of things like doing stuff with them, like going hikes and things like that. It's just it's a lot easier. It's a lot more pleasurable. I'm not huffing and puffing like I used to.
Would you say this has been life changing?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I could not have done this on my own, for sure. But it's probably the most complete differences I've ever seen when I've been trying to lose weight. This has been a big, big change.
Okay. Now I want to just shift gears. A couple more questions. I want to talk about the other side of things, right? You've done a lot of the work. We talked a little bit earlier about the trainers and how they modify things, but I want to find out more about who they are as people.
Mhm.
So I guess kind of, well, let me ask it this way. Do they come across as they actually truly genuinely care about you?
Oh gosh, yes, yes, yes. All of them. Like I mentioned, there's that kind of family atmosphere
Yeah.
here. That starts with the trainers. I mean, they remember your name, they know all about you, they'll ask about your kids, how's this going? How was that vacation? And they kind of know what your goals are and what you're good at, and it's incredible. Like one good example I can think
Mhm.
of is the trainer I work with most regularly. She's always mindful of saying, okay, you know what? I've seen the weights, you haven't really increased the amount of weights you're lifting. She says, we can tell this is getting easier for you. So let's go ahead and start boosting those up. So it's definitely personal attention, and it's just the right amount of push. And you couldn't do that if you didn't, care and pay attention to
Mhm.
what you're doing.
Yeah, and it sounds like in a way from what you're explaining that they will go out of their way to make sure, like you said, the small details about noticing how much weight you're lifting. They will go out of the way to make sure you're doing things right. But do they connect with you on a personal level, maybe outside? Let's say if you miss something or if someone's missing something, will they reach out and connect with you in any way like that? Follow
Oh,
up?
absolutely. Yeah, like if I miss one or two workouts, like I had a business trip, for example, and I got a text, everything okay? What's up? So I really appreciated that, and I've kind of learned to kind of give them a heads up so they
Hmm.
don't, it has to be something that they worry about.
Yeah.
Another example I can give you that they do is like if on the converse of it, if they see that you're struggling a little bit, they will come in and say, all right, how about let's take the reps down a little bit, or let's maybe modify the way this looks, because they're really attentive to if you're comfortable and how you're doing. So
Hmm.
not only in pushing you to do better, they can also kind of maybe say, okay, maybe we need to throttle it back a little bit today.
Okay. And maybe just a few words or phrases that kind of describe, again, just in general, not individually, but just the types of people they are or personalities, a few words or phrases that describe them.
Let's see. Um, I'd probably say very high energy, very dedicated. All of them have, been involved in fitness in some way or another, and
Hmm.
even outside of, this gym, most of them, participate in like, triathlons and stuff like that. So they're all dedicated to fitness, but I'd say they're all definitely people. I mean, they love being around us. They're always. I mean, you never feel like they're kind of just here for a paycheck. You can definitely tell they're here because they enjoy it and they want you to be better.
Okay. And then two more questions. I guess, what would you want to, let's say someone hears your story. They're in a similar situation, but they're on the fence of signing up here. What
Mhm.
would you want to tell that person? Maybe push them over the fence to sign up.
I guess I'd say you'd have a hard time doing this yourself. They've got, the equipment, the pace they put you at, the variety of exercises you do. You will never get bored. I don't think I've repeated a workout once in however many that I've done. So it's going to be something, you're going to get something here that you just can't do on your own in a gym. You're going to get personal attention, drive, uh, hands-on training that you're just not going to get anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And the results I've seen have been better than anything I ever did on my own. So it's proofs in the pudding on that.
Okay. Last question. Let's say as we're talking right now, Matt is somewhere else and he's filing all the paperwork and doing everything he can. He's shutting the business down completely, like right now.
Mm,
And you're not going to be able to email him, call him, text him, not be able to talk to him or trainers or anybody. And this is the last time you could ever say anything to them.
mm,
Knowing it's the last time, what would you want to say?
wow. I'm going to think about that one. I guess, Matt, you created a wonderful thing here. It's like nothing I've ever seen with, the people, the family atmosphere you have, the challenges you give people, and the way that you help people grow. I've never seen anything like it in either, large, small gyms, anything else. It's pretty incredible.
Jay, really great story. It's awesome to hear the results that you have and you've gone through this transformation. And I really do mean this when I say I wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thanks a bunch. Let me
All
go.
right, take care.
All right, thanks.